It started with a sentence and ended with a national scandal. A former president silenced a sitting one live on air. A leaked DNA report shook the East Wing, and a First Lady's fury triggered a political firestorm that no one saw coming. But the twist, the scandal wasn't about what leaked. It was about who tried to bury it. And when one congresswoman refused to stay quiet, that the truth became too loud to ignore. What happens when a sitting president crashes his predecessor's live town hall only to be shut down with one sentence? The crowd didn't know what had just hit them. But that wasn't the real story, because the interruption, that was just the spark. What followed exposed a DNA leak, a First Lady's fury, a congresswoman's crusade for transparency, and a national reckoning with the truth. From White House whispers to viral congressional showdowns, this is the political thriller you weren't supposed to see. Tuesday night, Phoenix, Arizona. A quiet primetime town hall. Barack Obama sits center stage, jacket unbuttoned, tie loosened, his demeanor steady and poised. The conversation is about democracy. The mood is civil. Then the moderator's earpiece crackles. We've just been informed. President Trump is calling in. The audience gasps. This wasn't planned, not scheduled, not normal. Obama doesn't blink. He simply leans back and says, "Put him through." Seconds later, Trump's face appears on the screen, his voice booming through the auditorium. "Barack, I had to call in watching this whole thing. It's a disgrace. Jobs lost, manufacturing dead. I fixed this country. You didn't." The air turns electric. Trump's style is loud, forceful. He dominates. For a moment, it seems like he's winning. Then Obama leans forward, looks directly at the camera, and speaks calmly. "I think the American people are less interested in who shouts the loudest, and more interested in who tells them the truth." Silence. Then applause. Thunderous. Trump tries to jump back in, but the tone is shifted. The room now belongs to Obama. That moment would go viral. But what came next would make history. Inside the East Wing, tension was suffocating. A leaked DNA report, pages creased, fingerprints still fresh, lay on the First Lady's desk. Melania Trump gripped it with shaking hands, not from weakness, but from rage. "I will not allow them to destroy my son," she snapped. Her advisors shifted uneasily. One of them, Raymond Holt, tried to offer calm. "We can manage this." Melania slammed her hand on the desk. "Find them. I don't care how." By nightfall, aides reported hearing the sound of shattering glass from the private residence. No one dared ask what broke. The First Lady had crossed a line she rarely did, losing composure. Meanwhile, downtown D.C., a conference room filled with legal minds, crisis managers, spin doctors, a single folder at the center of the table. The DNA report. "We can discredit it or bury it," one lawyer said. Melania's team leaned toward distraction, but the damage had already spread. Because someone else had been watching. Dallas, Texas. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett read the situation differently. "This isn't about a child," she told her staff. "It's about power and the lengths they'll go to protect it." She made one thing clear. Barron Trump would remain off-limits. The real story was the cover-up. Jasmine took to the mic. Short, sharp, focused. If the truth makes someone uncomfortable, that's their problem, not the people's. The line exploded online. Hashtags trended. Pundits debated. And Crockett hadn't even started. 3 days later, she entered a congressional hearing room with quiet purpose. Calm. Focused. She adjusted the mic. "America doesn't just run on laws. It runs on trust. And when those in power treat truth like an inconvenience, that trust dies a little every day." Then she produced a stack of documents, called logs, transcripts, names, times. These are records showing that members of the First Lady's office made direct calls to media outlets. Editors were pressured. Threats were made not to protect a family, but to protect an image. Gasps. Reporters leaned forward. Crockett didn't flinch. If the report were false, why try so hard to bury it at the White House? Panic. "She's turning the story on us," Holt said. Melania's jaw clenched. Then we strike back. Her response came live. No script, no filters. I am a mother before I am a first lady. My son deserves privacy, not spectacle. Statement was emotional, powerful, but vague. She offered no denial, no evidence, just indignation. Jasmine responded on national television. I respect mothers. I respect families. But hiding behind them to silence the truth, that's not leadership. That's manipulation. The public was split. Some called Jasmine reckless. Others called her brave. Then Jasmine went further. She revealed call logs from newsrooms. Editors threatened with revoked access. Federal contacts used to apply pressure. This is no longer about a leak, she said. This is about government channels being used to silence journalists. That is not a family issue. That is an abuse of power. Reporters erupted at the White House. Holt slammed a fist on the table. She's accusing us of authoritarian behavior. Melania, cold and steady, responded. Then sue her. We can't hold said. If we file, the documents become public. That's what she wants. Jasmine calm repeated her message. Power doesn't get to hide behind children. The truth doesn't need bodyguards. Lies do. Clips went viral. Hashtags trended. Silence or courage. Hack truth matters. We protect Barron. Expose the power. At kitchen tables and factory break rooms, Americans talked. It wasn't about the DNA anymore. It was about trust and who deserved it. One man said, if she's lying, why does she sound so damn convincing? A woman replied, maybe because she isn't. Even Congress began to stir. Some called for informal reviews of the First Lady's office. Journalists refused to drop the trail. The White House scrambled. Staffers worked overnight. But the narrative had shifted. Melania released another statement. Emotional, protective, framed around decency. But she still didn't deny the core claims. Jasmine went back on air. This isn't red or blue. This isn't about a boy. It's about a government using its power to silence the people. And if we don't speak now, what happens the next time? The story kept growing. The country kept watching. Because truth once exposed doesn't go quietly. It doesn't need defenders. But lies always do. And if you're wondering where that leaves you, just remember this. When power hides behind silence, that's when you start asking louder questions. Because the moment we stop demanding answers, we lose the one thing that makes democracy work. Accountability. Stay curious. Stay loud. Stay watching.